Hello, all. This is Beth Hayes, editor of Preface to Your Eternity. I'm with Sharon Quinn, the author of this great book. She's wanting to talk today about how readable her book is and the reasons she made it that way for people who are dyslexic or have ADD or just are not used to reading large volumes. Sharon, tell us about the things you used in your book.
Thank you, Beth, and welcome, readers. I'd like to share with you the special thought that we put into making a 500 and some page book written on a subject matter that is our consciousness, is our spirit, which is extremely abstract. And in some ways, the types of books that really talk about all that are metaphysical books that are just like, so hard to read. And so, to a large degree, many people find themselves shying away from such types of books as being just too hard to read. And so I wanted to overcome all the different things that would make reading about abstract information simple, because the whole paradigm and its message of self-gnosis is so powerful and so potent. It is a door of opportunity that every person on this planet needs to be able to at least look at, so that they can say, I didn't know that, and I didn't realize I had these choices, and I really need to comprehend something like this. And it takes talking, and it takes a lot of information, only because our current paradigms are so convoluted and so confused that we have to work our way around what is workable and what is not workable. Now, in the books, one of the very first things I made it a point to do, and Beth can confirm that, I do not try to persuade you or convince you or put out any shame, blame, or guilt whatsoever about you having to believe what you read. Would you agree with that? She said she does.
I do.
She does. And so, I did that because I think that is one of the things in the old paradigm that is not useful to our spiritual growth and to who we are. It really manipulates us and gets us away from the very essence of what we really are. Our spirit, who we really are, is a presence that is a pure, raw intelligence. Now, as an intelligence, that means what? We can and are required and are expected and have every ability to think for ourselves. So putting on our own thinking cap and thinking for ourselves at our own pace is something that is natural to us, and we should and ought to be doing it because it empowers us. Now, the old paradigms want us to believe and do what we're told and not question. That has been very harmful to our growth. And we look at a world right now where there's a lot of people struggling and at war with each other over this whole idea of beliefs, and trying to convince people, if you don't believe, then there's something wrong with you and we have a right to kill you, and it just gets crazy. Okay? With the self-gnosis paradigm, which is introduced in its holism initially under preface, that's why it's your very beginning to your eternity, because we are spirit, intelligence, consciousness that has an eternity nature. We are not really mortal human beings like everything has been led to make us think we are. So that's a big idea. That's a really big idea. So how do you get that idea across without putting people into overwhelm? Well, some of the ways I did that was by not trying to put it in a 200-page book where I just assumed you could read between the lines. I actually wrote many different ways and talked around it from many different angles and points of view, so that all readers could come to it, no matter where their belief systems were, no matter where their heart aches, whether they have any spiritual beliefs, religious beliefs or not. They could come and get a fresh new palette to read and start to explore for themselves and say, this is common sense reasoning. I like it. And let me think about it. Okay? That's what you need to do. That honors you and it respects you. So that is one of the things that I made as part of the writing of the book that was very, very important to me. The second part was now actually structuring and making the book in a way that would physically make it easier to read 500 pages. Well, one of the things was I chose cream colored paper because all the scientific research tells us that it's easier on the eyes. The eyes can relax and take in the print on the page when it's cream colored with black print. I chose a font size that's 11 and a font that was very crisp and very easy to read. I used a non-serif font because it's easier to see the letters and to go through and recognize the print on the page. It looks clean, it looks crisp, so it doesn't have anything there that is kind of making the eyes kind of, try to figure out what that little squiggly thing is on that letter. So I did that specifically for that purpose. I myself am in my 60s. I know, I'm such a young little cookie, right? And reading and print not being clear on the page was important to me. And so I could use my own aging eyes. I know, there I said it. But they become your gift. Because in doing that, I was able to look and see the types of things that make the eyes get stressed. And I could eliminate them with pass after pass till we came up with a font size and the actual font itself. The other thing then, I thought about it even more as I was reading, and I started thinking, why don't we take the paragraphs of information and do something unique? Why don't we break down every paragraph to be, every time I present a basic thought, idea, I'm going to make it a paragraph that's only a couple sentences. And then let you go from one idea, digest it, chunk it down, read the next couple sentence idea, digest it, and go that way. That way it made it easier to take in a much bigger idea by actually breaking the paragraphs down so you could take a breather after each basic idea. Then, had another idea. Why not make sure I go through most of the book and allow somebody to read a first or second sentence and then read the top of the next paragraph, the first sentence or so, and then the next, and realize that by doing that they would get a coherent idea of what the book was at like the first level. Then they could read the book and take all that in and go, oh, that's the basic idea. Then go back and read, now read the whole paragraph. I also used bold sentences and phrases to help carry you along with the more important ideas that would pop out, so that you could go by going just at the top, sentences, going with the bold, and you would get a lot of the basic idea and enough depth to really get something useful out of the book. Now I suggest you do it 13 times, because each time you read, what happens is your mind has taken in those ideas at the first level. Now you're reading, you're running into more depth, you're getting a second level, but you already have a basis and your mind is kind of going, I know what that means. And then you read it a third time, and now you have another basis. And as you're reading it, whether you're going at the top or reading the whole paragraphs, you're getting, I didn't realize that the last time I read. So it keeps allowing you to digest at your pace deeper and deeper thoughts, and your intuition and your insights get to emerge and give you your epiphanies. It's your epiphanies that matter, not mine. Okay? And you cannot make a decision about where you want to go if you don't have your own insights and reasons for going forward, which self-gnosis is all about, you being the decider, you being empowered. Now I've also included an index, so that was made as a cross-reference index that was giving you a map to the book. So you could go through and basically read, even go to where you see it of interest to you, and it was instructive to help you be able to really see what the whole story was from another viewpoint. So that is the thoughts of trying to make this book easier for everybody who is ADD and who likes to be able to work with thinking for yourself and respecting who you are and your ability to take in and get a new door of opportunity. Thank you.